All right, come on in. Oh, wait.
Left the new
Dang.
18-year-old approved dance assistants in charge of class, not to worry. I assume I'm over here on the end, right? Yes. Thank you, I didn't look where the names were placed.
That's the one good thing about being chair. Always from here.
There you go. You know where you're seated.
Probably should leave this handy in case somebody goes, Miss Suda, somebody's hurt. Don't want to hear that, but
Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for Monday, February 10th, 2025. It's 6 p.m., so I'm officially calling this meeting to order. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I will open the Citizens Open Forum. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes to speak on any topic of their choice. Please remember to state your name and address for the records. Do we have anyone that would like to speak at this time? Seeing none, I am closing the Citizens Open Forum. Our first agenda item is approval of our minutes dated November 4th, 2024. The minutes have been distributed by Jenny. Are there any corrections a board member would like to make at this time? All right, seeing none, I need a motion to approve the minutes from November 4th, 2024.
Make a motion?
Okay, I need a second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is agenda item number 2, consideration of excused absence for November 4th, 2024. Board members, Mr. Joseph Santana and Ms. Suda Yantis Cologne. Did everyone receive an email from Jenny regarding the 2 absences?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, or it's in your packets.
it's in the pack.
So please take a minute to look at those before we vote on excusing absences.
And I assume that those were absent can't vote.
No, you are allowed to vote.
Or we're supposed to vote?
You can.
Oh, okay.
All right. I need a motion to excuse Joseph Santana from the November 4th, 2024 meeting.
I motion that.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? I feel having a family emergency is an excusable reason to miss, so just know that. So seeing we have consensus to votes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay. Next, I need a motion to excuse Suda Yantis Cologne from the November 4th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I need a second.
A second.
All right. Any discussion on this item?
Just briefly, I teach theater on Monday nights during this meeting. I usually have a backup teacher to take over, and I didn't that night. So I didn't even have an opportunity to step out or warn anybody I couldn't make it. I had to just push on through rehearsal. Most times and through future, I have my backup new 18-year-old dancers that can take my class, as well as we have a new theater music director, Miss Peggy, who teaches at Ruth Eckerd Hall, who is also typically going to be able to be there for me. So I do apologize for the missed meeting. I tried to make it work, and I had to take care of our kids first. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? In my opinion, a board member needs to have an excused absence. It needs to be a family emergency. That's just my opinion. It needs to be sickness, delayed traffic. I feel like we know advance about these meetings. So I think as board members, we should take that in consideration. So,
It's fine if you don't feel it was an excusable reason. I could have lied and said I was sick, but I'm too honest for my own good.
thank you for that. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Said we can vote for
All
ourselves.
opposed, say no.
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 Sorry, 2 noes.
2 noes, and I think the rest were yeses.
The chair and Mr. Banner.
Yes.
And if I may ask, if it was unexcused or approved by the board to not be excused, was that a last meeting and this would be my last meeting here, or?
Nope, you're still here.
It's still excused, motion passed.
Yeah,
I know,
motion
but if
passed.
it didn't, I was just curious as to
It's
the
two.
solution.
No, you would still be here.
Okay,
2 unexcused absences a year.
okay. But that started in May, I understand, or something, correct?
Correct.
Wait, yep.
Calendar year. So May,
So, yeah, it starts in January, so.
Reset in
January reset.
okay. I was told by Kristen that was May or something, so,
Well, that was last year,
okay.
because the,
Now, or-
You-
the, am
I apologize, I'm just trying to understand, so,
that's when city council, approved the new measure, so we didn't, it was retro, then we went retro and then forward, so it was kind of a partial year last year.
okay.
So now it's beginning the full cycle.
Okay. And if I feel this is too much of a conflict for taking care of our kids, I will appropriately step down in the future. Thank you.
All right. Motion passes. So next item agenda we have is agenda item number 3, interview applicants for alternate board member vacancy and make a recommendation to the city council. Did everyone receive a copy of our applicants?
I have a question about the applicant. I think I have a question. We have Rochelle, Brandon, and then Ralph? Okay, so Ralph is not
He's
under
not interested.
consideration. That, okay.
So we just have our
Thank
2,
you.
I'm assuming, tonight.
Okay, he was in the packet. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Just emailed me today. He's
Oh,
no
okay.
longer interested.
Thank you.
So today we have Rochelle Correa, is that correct? And Brandon Gee for our 1 vacant, was it? G, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, now I know. For our 1 vacant alternate position. So just a reminder to board members, there's no standard set of questions. But if you wish to use questions we've used prior, I have them. So just so board members know, I can pass those down if you like. So with that, I'm going to ask our first applicant to come up. Rochelle, could you please come up and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you'd like to join this board?
Sure. Hi. My name is Rochelle Correa. I've been an Oldsmar resident for almost 25 years now. I watch the board meetings every four times a year on YouTube, and I would like to be on the board. I feel like I have a great perspective as I have raised my children here and they've gone through programs, and now as a empty nester, I have the opportunity to use the parks as an adult myself. So I have an idea of what different age groups would like.
Okay. Does anyone have a question at this time for Rochelle?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you typically available at these evening meetings?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have applied if I wasn't.
Okay, good.
And I am very dependable, and I don't miss work. I am employed full-time, but it's very important to me to be here. And I'm one of those people where if you're on time, you're late, so sorry if I get here too early.
Okay, thank you.
Can't really. Good.
Donna, would you have a question?
Yes,
Okay.
what's your favorite thing to do at the parks?
Well, right now, my favorite thing to do is I'm a member of the Wednesday Walkers. And so what that is, if you're not aware, it's a program that the city has. We meet at the rec center, and then we get driven around to different parks every week and get to walk. And then in the last Wednesday of the month, we all go to brunch together. So it's a very nice community program. And it was featured in the Oldsmar magazine, too.
I can see that. The new one. Right here.
Yes, page 13.
Is it highlighted?
Well, I got it in the
Laminated?
mail, and I got a text. I'm like, hey, you're in the magazine. I'm like, oh, wow, didn't know.
Oh, nice.
Anybody else have a question they'd like to ask? I think I saw you're on the ordinance or charter review committee previously? or-
Yes,
Okay.
I was appointed by the city council and the mayor in 2021.
Okay.
And that was a great experience, getting to learn all about the city and working with the attorney.
So that kind of helps you know the formality of this after having that experience?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
And previously, before that, it was like a long time ago, but when my children were at Forest Lakes, I was on the PTA, 2 years as secretary, and then I was president of PTA.
Very nice.
That's a good experience.
It's quite the experience.
Very good.
Anybody else have any questions at this time? No? All right, well, thank you, Rochelle.
I think
Oh, wait.
Dave had one.
Did you have one? Sorry.
I mean, what's your knowledge of what this group does?
Well, like I said, I watched the meetings online. I saw how you work with the wonderful city staff and got the toys placed at the
box.
beach. I thought that was great, that you can work together and get things done like that. So I just wanted to be a part of that.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're good, so thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Brandon G., would you like to come up? Step on up. Same thing, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you'd like to be on this board?
Yeah, Brandon G. I moved to the Tampa area in 2016, played in NFL 6 years. Actually lived in Oldsmar October of 2023, not 20 plus years, but a little over a year. House did flood, trying to rebuild like everybody else. But honestly, just want to be more a part of the community. I have young kids, love sports. I'm currently director of a place called House of Athlete, and we train over 100 professionals, and I want to get more involved in youth. I mean, it's great to see these professionals perform and achieve different things, and also vice president of a bank, which the majority of my clients are athletes. And just seeing that grassroots and how they grow. I know in my industry, a lot of college guys are getting paid and et cetera, but again, I want to teach more financial literacy going through it, especially in this space, but that starts from the bottom, just as far as elementary, middle school, and again, just getting more involved in just educating kids on just the pathway of life and just being a mentor, to be honest. I feel like I've been through a lot of things, ups and downs, professional life, and I was one of these kids at Parks and Rec and just I-9 Sports or Under Armour or the Lights. I know it's not in Oldsmar, but just want to really be a part of the community.
Anybody have a question for Brandon at this time? Any thought with Pam?
Same question. Do you have availability in the evening?
Yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else?
I can't talk.
Oh, I can ask the question for you. It's okay. Did you have one, Dave?
Relative to this or his football career?
Relative to this right now. You can chat with him afterwards.
I thought that name sounded a little familiar,
I hope not, but no.
in a good way.
It's been a long time, so.
I saw that you volunteered for Easter Seals. I used to volunteer with
Yep,
them when I lived in
absolutely.
Hawaii. I know it sounds awful, but
All right, no. Really, come from a military background. Dad was Army and Wounded Warriors. Like I said, Friends of the Children is locally in Pinellas County. Like I said, anything just to really be in that grassroots forum and just really give back to the community is really my goal. And to your question, I know you asked her what Parks and Rec really does. Actually, I'm not even sure. To me, it's very broad. And, you just try to make the best for everyone, right? That's what I see, and again, that's what I want to be a part of. And I actually have a question for you guys. What do you guys do at Parks and Rec, if you don't mind me asking?
we work with the city manager and the city council, and we go out to the community and find out what their needs and report that back to staff. And we mostly do that through our survey, which if you decide to stay tonight, you can hear about our
absolutely.
feedback, so.
Yep.
And then when people do come in and present things to us, we would be the first step before it goes to the city council board.
Understood.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Wounded Warriors and how that would relate to this?
Yeah, so I'm from Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty. My dad was 23-year vet. He ended up passing away during COVID, but we have scholarships as far as veterans and honestly their kids as well. Again, this is my background. I went to high school, and the majority of the people I went to high school with are in the military. So when it comes to Wounded Warriors, I continue to volunteer and give back financially or whatever I can do. And if I could tie that into Parks and Rec, that'd be awesome as well. And I know there's a Veterans Memorial here in Oldsmar. I actually looked up to see if my father could be there, but he had to be a resident in Oldsmar, but I definitely looked into it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions at this time, Brandon? All right, well, thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Very well qualified.
So Jenny has passed out the ballots. So at this time, either check Rochelle or Brandon and either pass it down, or if John feels like collecting them.
It doesn't
Since
look
you
like,
didn't walk enough this weekend.
doesn't look like he does. Do you want to come to you, or do they go to Jenny?
They should go to Jenny. So. You Sign your name,
I
sir.
saw lime, so I went for it.
Bring it back. Oh, sorry. Up with my job there.
Did we get everyone's ballots? Okay.
The board has selected Mr. G for the alternate position.
All right, well, congratulations. You both for coming out. Please come back and try again if there's a vacancy available, or feel free to stay and come back. But feel free to stay for the rest of this meeting. So thank you all for coming. Moving on to agenda item number
I'm
4.
sorry, quick question. And their applications stay on file for X amount of time, correct?
Correct, if they would like us to.
So Rochelle, if we have another position come open, it would still be on file for you.
Ballots are fine.
So you would be contacted, I would assume, if another position comes open. Thank you.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 4, park server results discussion. Chip, you have the floor.
No report.
All right, I have to read it myself.
I want to thank you all for your assistance in conducting the survey that took place over the past months, actually. We did receive some very good feedback. I've put together a compilation of the results here for you. They were in a spreadsheet, so we kind of tried to extrapolate them. We used AI, of course, and that helped us bring things together from a categorical standpoint. Overall, we're happy with the results that we received. We did receive 137 responses through your efforts and then our online efforts through our social media and all that fun stuff on the website. So my goal tonight is not to decide what programming, that's not what the meeting is about, to decide what programming we're going to do. The staff are going to use the feedback from the survey to help guide us in our programming as we move along throughout the course of the year. And from a activity standpoint, program standpoint, and from a special event standpoint. What's interesting is some of the survey results of the needs and things are some of the things which is encouraging, are some of the things that we already offer, some of the things that we already have. So that's good to see that those are still desired by the community. And then there's also some other things that are in here that are, oh, okay, hey, that's kind of a new idea. That wasn't, we didn't see that before, or maybe this is a trend that's heading in that direction. So my goal here tonight would be to kind of just highlight some of the categories that were created from the responses, kind of look at some of the numbers that were in there, what was a little bit, on the higher end. And you guys can take these results back. We can come back and look at them again next meeting, maybe more in depth. When you see them and say, hey, Chip, I noticed this here. Maybe we could do something. Maybe you guys could consider doing something like this. So that's kind of the goal here. Again, not to dive in because you guys just received this 15 minutes ago, right? So I'll highlight some of the areas here as we go through. Question number 1, what are the most important amenities in a park to you and your family? Top 3 responses there were playgrounds, picnic shelters, and open green space, which we certainly have a good number of those, and that's good to know that those are important because we do focus a lot of our resources in those areas. Question number 2, what recreational activities do you or your family enjoy most? These were categorized as we went. I said we utilized some assistance with AI to kind of categorize for us, but the top responses to fit under these categories were in sports and fitness. So the recreational activities that they enjoy the most fall under sports and fitness. There were 50 mentions of a sport or fitness activity. That's how we ranked those. You'll see that number next to the heading there, or the categorical heading. Excuse me 1 second.
Since you guys are here, I'm gonna give you guys a copy as well.
All right. Okay, so this is question number 2. The next one was playgrounds and kids activities were mentioned. That was 32 mentions in there. Walking and hiking, 27 mentions. Water activities, kayaking, swimming, paddleboarding, beach access, 24 mentions. And that kind of, those were the core categories that were kind of reported back to us. So there were there's some good responses in there. Moving on to the second page, question number 3. What type of special events would you like to see that help connect people and build a stronger community? A lot of different categories here. We had, they fell under arts, culture, and entertainment. Things such as art and craft fairs, craft shows, theater plays were mentioned in there, categorized as well. Community building events, things such as community scavenger hunts, community garage sales. John and I were actually talking about something like that.
Yeah.
Going through some of our programming thoughts and in our meetings. We had food-related events, farmers markets. We have been in touch, just so as a side note, we've been in touch with, obviously we work well with the Chamber as a third-party provider of special events like Oldsmar Day, Celebrate Oldsmar, things like that. They are interested in creating a weekly farmers market here in the downtown area. So whether it's our staff that are doing these activities or creating these events or activities, or it's our third-party providers, that's how we, because we can't do every event like that, all the 5Ks and all that stuff. So working with our community partners to do those, but that was one of the couple of responses that came back. Fitness, sports, outdoor activities, 5Ks, kayaking, canoeing. Inclusive activities, some of these were inclusive events where children engage with elderly participants, kind of tying that together. Intergenerational programming. And then our holiday and seasonal celebrations, and some of the activities that we actually already provide are in here: Christmas tree lighting, holiday light, the holiday lights, parades, Winterfest, egg hunts, 4th of July, things like that. So good feedback underneath that category, that question. Question number 4 was categories below that you feel are most important to you and your family. The highest ranking responses, the top 3 were family activities, community events, and outdoor recreation. So, obviously that kind of leads us into a thought process of, okay, where do we focus our program efforts? That's how we'll look at this chart here and say, okay, this is what the community feedback is. Let's kind of go in that direction. Question number 5. What are the most needed improvements that could be made to our existing parks if money was available? If we had an
Money question.
No object. My name was no object.
again, these are categorized. There was some good feedbacks in the bullet points that you see below in each of those categories, which were maintenance and safety, playgrounds and recreation areas, dog parks, fitness and sports. And this was a long category here with water features, landscaping and aesthetics, parking and accessibility, indoor event activities, community education programs, and then some people actually specifically called out certain parks like Sheffield Park, Ariels Park, Bicentennial Park. So some of the answers or responses were that specific. Again, still good information that we received back here. Question number 6: what type of specific recreational classes or activities would you prefer? Excuse me. What type of specific?
Long weekend.
What type of specific recreational classes or activities would you or your family like to see offered in Oldsmar? And as you can see, we have the categorized columns here again: sports and fitness, arts and crafts, music and dance. You can read down through those. But what's interesting is, as you look through some of those, we do offer a good number of these activities already. But there's a lot on the list here, which is kind of nice to see, and it's good feedback for us to consider. And again, with this feedback, the staff go back, we review. Here's where these are trending. What can we do? And a lot of times, what are other cities doing that could complement, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel? Like who's offering pottery classes around that we know? Okay, find an instructor. Is there somebody I know we have a kiln. Don't we still have a kiln?
Yes, we do. Well, I think we still have it, yes.
And that was just something that I randomly picked off the page, but where do we find an instructor? What's the demand? Is there something that we could do that would help promote something like this? Is this really a desire? So the staff will go over those, and we'll look at those, like I said, and consider those as we go through. Now, obviously, we can't offer everything that's on the list, so it's our job, it's the staff's job to really fine-tooth comb through this and see, what can we offer? What space do we have to offer it in? What time slots do we have to offer this in? So that's what they'll do when we go back and take a look at this. Question number 7, what is the best way to communicate information about parks and recreation programs and other information to your household? Mostly the top ones are social media, Facebook, email notification. You have the website, our Oldsmar website on there. So it trended heavily towards that electronic media. So obviously that's something that we already do. We have a Facebook page, a city Facebook page that we promote information on. We have all of the other social media platforms as well.
Well, it looks like it's primarily Facebook for
Yeah,
this one.
primarily Facebook, which I don't go on.
I know,
myself.
I like
It's okay.
Instagram better.
I'm not a Facebook person, but that's okay. The city has the Facebook page, which we do promote heavily on. Next question here, which is a good one. How would you rate your overall satisfaction with the availability of family events and activities offered in Oldsmar? 95% are favorable, in my opinion. You've got, let's see, excellent and good. 75% say excellent or good, and you add in the fair, and it takes it up to about 95%. So we're happy with that. We still could, we're going to rest on our laurels. We're going to do more. We're going to continue to be, provide satisfaction to the residents with our activities and our programming. So that's why that's why we do these surveys, to make sure we continue to provide those. Question number 9, kind of what you would expect from a time standpoint. If additional programs for different age groups are important to you and your family, please indicate the best time during a typical week for each category. So as you can see in here, the young children and older adults trend primarily towards the morning times, and then your youth trend into the evening times. So that's kind of what you would expect anyway. We were just trying to kind of see if we could find any new
trend.
trends that were taking place there. So this is an interesting question. What barriers keep you from participating in parks and recreation activities? The number one was lack of knowledge regarding services, and that always strikes me as odd.
And it's been like
It's
that
always
way
like that. Yeah,
for
for
years
years.
and
Yeah.
years and years.
Just can't figure it out because we are on every social media platform.
And you got the magazines, and you send out text, and you send out emails.
The magazine is mailed to every household in the city, so all of our programs are in there. So I don't know how to respond to that. Sometimes it's just we're just going to keep
Text message, that one came up.
text message. What's that?
That's the new one that was on there.
Text is- yeah.
There was that was one of the top ones.
Because in the top you see, when you go back to that previous question, I think it was question 7.
Question 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, question 7 with the social media platforms, how do you find out about our activities? All of them are social media. And I mean, if all you got to do is subscribe, and get on there, and then you'll get all the information that you need. So anyway, lack of knowledge, and then of course too busy. And those were the top 2 that were there. Hours of operation are not convenient for me or my family. We only have so many program rooms that we can program in an evening time. So that's, if you look at those evening time slots, those are the most, desirable time slots. So we'll go back and look at that though, and see if there's something that we need to offer, kind of looking at with the question about the programming times in question number 9. We can kind of look at that and say, okay, where are we missing a spot, or are we not filling an opportunity? So we'll take a look at that. On the back page, number 11. Overall, how satisfied are you with the availability of various recreational and sports programs in the city? 93% favorable. That's pretty good. So that was either very satisfied or neutral, because some people are like, yeah, I like the activities. I'm fine with it. They're good. So so that's a good sign there. And then the last 2 questions were just kind of what are the age demographic more. What are the ages of your household members? It seems to be more from this survey, families with children. You see that 31 to 50 age range, and then that 5 to 12 age range. So to me, that kind of speaks to families with children. We're the majority of the respondents to this survey.
That's who's going to the parks
that?
more. That's who's going to the parks more.
Parks, but that's not necessarily just who's online either, because we, so hopefully we're getting some responses there as well. But certainly the parks may skew some of that if you're going to the parks. And then are you an Oldsmar resident? So we had 90% Oldsmar residents, 10% non-residents who answered the survey. So what I would ask is, take the time when you have some time to look at the results and the feedback. And like I said, we'll certainly go back and look at this with our staff. I don't know, John, do you have anything to add to any of your
No, I
assessments?
think it's, there's a trend when you look at the results there, and especially when you look at the itemized results on what people are looking for. When we see things like, and I'll just use youth theater as an example. Well, we have that in droves, and we're not the only person who promotes that. SUDA does that as well. So there's a weird disconnect in how we're getting a message out. So I think once we figure out what that disconnect is, it's going to change these numbers substantially.
Yeah.
But overall, and I'm a big survey guy, overall, this is a real positive survey. So I hope you take away from this survey, that it's really, it's leaning heavy on positive results.
Yeah, so we can come back and talk about this at the next meeting after you have time to digest it, and we'll digest it as well. So, how did you guys feel doing the surveys when you were out there? Were you?
I was just gonna ask, did you get better results on the paper survey or the QR code?
QR code. QR.
Okay, because I gave both out. Just curious which was better.
Yeah, I think we entered, I'd say around 10, maybe 12 paper surveys that were received.
But it was
There
mostly
weren't
the
many. Most of them were
QR code.
or online through the website.
I was going to ask, how was the response online? Was it pretty decent?
10 less than.
Whatever the numbers were, 127 roughly?
117.
Because, like I said, we only got maybe 10 paper responses back out of 137 total.
Gotcha. The QR code led them to the website. That was the key. Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's all good.
I didn't even pick up, I just had her email me the QR code, and I just screenshot it and had people scan it.
Were they receptive for the
Yeah.
most part when people came up? When you
Yes,
came up,
peop-
people were receptive?
The paper survey I did well with, yeah.
Yeah.
People were very.
My older folks won't, so you'll see a lot of mine were paper, because I tended more towards some of that age group, and so it was just easier.
Again, kind of to be expected.
I think it was expected, yeah.
Having the QR code on your phone is great, like,
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
just pull it out, scan it, and it's good to go.
Sure.
You know?
Well, thank you for getting out into the community.
I still have some feedback.
Oh, you said, okay.
Okay. Well, I did feel like I had a little bit more of an advantage because I usually had a baby with me, so people were pretty receptive to me. But I do feel like the QR code was pretty helpful as well. Not many people were wanting to take the paper survey from me, but they would. I did post a bunch of QR codes at different locations. I sent you a list, probably like 11 or 12. So that's why I wanted to know, like in the future, if we could have a question where it says, where did you get this QR code from? So we know, like, if people are going to that. For instance, I did it at Bicentennial Park, so I did it at the pickleball courts and the tennis courts. And usually I just would walk by and say, hey, if you have a minute, could you please scan this QR code? Just give us some feedback about the community, and what you think of the parks. And I don't know if they did, but they said they would, so hopefully they did. I saw a lot of pickleball on there, so I'm assuming that they probably did as a activity they liked. But I also thought that was a good method because there was a group of people there, and I could just say, hey, when you have a minute, please scan this. And that way I got like 6 or 7.
A lot of,
If they did it. Never know for sure.
How were the responses number-wise compared to the last survey we did? Were we about the same?
I would say it's a little bit less than the last time.
Less?
180, I think last time, 186 or something in that range.
Okay.
I did receive some feedback that some people thought it was too many questions. Did anyone get that?
No, I didn't get that at all.
It's like if it's over 10, that's overwhelming for some people, especially nowadays. So my recommendation is just to keep it to under 10 questions. If they say anything more than that, they're not going to want to. Because there was one, I was actually trying to do the survey online myself, and I wrote in everything, and then there was a part where it says check all that apply, and it would not let me do that. So I said, okay, I'm going to copy and paste all my responses that I wrote out. And I did that, and then I refreshed the page, and then I tried to paste it back in, and it didn't let me. So that was kind of frustrating even for me. So some people may have just given up, because I was even close to giving up because I just written everything down. So again, that's just my recommendation, just keep it to 10. And I think it would be a good question in the future to see where you got this from. Like, was it the QR code website? Was it social media? Was it from a board member? you could say who, no, I'm just kidding, our location, what location, and of course, paper. So I think if we can find out, we can approach more of that method as well.
Good idea.
And, oh, I did speak to Chip about this, but I think it might be better if we have the Oldsmar logo on here. Just seems more, the last time we did it, we had the Oldsmar logo. So I think with the logo, it's a little bit more official. Because there was one family I talked to, it was the day after Christmas, and that was probably the only one that didn't want to scan it. They said they don't trust those because it'll take their money. And I was also with my child that day, and when we go to the park, they usually wear raggedy clothes, so maybe that didn't look good. It's the day after Christmas, and here I am with kids with raggedy clothes.
Oh my, I think we've heard it all now.
So they're like, oh, this lady's looking for some money. Don't.
Well, you can get the
Don't talk to
QR
her.
code. You can get the QR code nowadays with the logo inside it, or at least on the piece of paper that you showed if there was no Oldsmar logo on there.
Right. But anyway, special thanks to Tatiana and Chip for developing that survey.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for helping distribute that. We appreciate that. Anyone else have any feedback they'd want to share regarding it before I close?
Do you want in another year, or what's the next stage?
Yeah, I plan to do it annually.
Okay.
I
Because
was-
we'll do our park user survey coming up in the fall, so we'll have 2 per year.
Okay,
Per
thank
year?
you.
Right, one is the community interest survey from a programming standpoint, and then one is a park user survey, trying to, it just kind of assesses where the people are coming from and what they're doing when they go to the parks.
So when do you think that survey? will be?
Fall, you said?
I think that would be the November, let's see, we can talk about it, no, that would be August.
You'll distribute it at the August meeting?
Distribute it
Okay.
August meeting. And then the results.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we did it through August. I have to look at the dates, I can't remember off the top of my head when we did it the last time.
Because the last couple of times it's been once per year, but if we're moving to 2 per year, I think that's better.
Well, they're 2 different surveys.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, with that, I'm going to close agenda item number 4 and move on to agenda item number 5, new business. I'll start my right with Donna. Do you have any new business today?
No, I actually don't. Not yet.
All right, thank you. Dave, do you have any new business?
Nope. I believe you can.
All right, Pam?
No.
No, okay. Mr. Joe?
No new business.
Oh, great. Moving along. Tina?
Nothing I can think of.
All right, Ms. Suda?
I got a lot of things I can think of, but no, I don't have anything.
Okay.
A lot of great things coming up that just watch for your calendars and watch for your Facebook and your newsletters and your chamber sites and things like that. There's a lot of great events coming up.
All right, thank you. And I have no business, so Chip, do you have any new business or any staff?
I'm just going to provide, kind of like I do my little updates, kind of summarize the previous quarter of activities and events and things that are going on and what our staff have been doing. So I'll just start with my bullet points here. I know some of you who went on our tour today, I was able to mention, and I don't know if anybody else has recognized, but the park staff began installation of the benches in Ariel's Park, replacing our benches. They look very nice. We also started replacing picnic tables as well, and that was part of the Trail Go grant that the city received last fall. So those products have now delivered, and now we're getting we're getting them installed. We actually also just received it's called a batwing mower, very wide breadth. Very wide mower, the biggest mower that we have. So that was part of the grant that we received as well. So that was just delivered last week. It's not even in service yet. But anyway, so we have, and part of that, we also installed a new water fountain, a bottle filler water fountain in Ariel's Park.
Saw that.
And we have 2 more. One's going in at Bicentennial Park, and one is going in at Sheffield Park along the trail right by the dog park.
Good.
So those are in process now. We just finished the Ariel's one. I think it was Amber was the first one to use it by chance. She happened to be there when the staff just finished installation. So so that's looking good there.
Is Bicentennial next or Sheffield? Or you're not sure?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Sheffield may take a little bit more work to do because of the location of the current water fountain, because it's in the grass, actually. It's not on a pad. So that may take a little bit more work there. But either one. Anybody have a Vote? No,
Bicentennial?
we'll get them out. They're going to go out very quickly because our facility, now that we finished our BMX event last weekend, now our staff can start to focus on getting back to the regular work orders. Let's see, since the last meeting, we made it through our fall and winter event season, very successful. We had our Haunted Happenings event with about 1,600 people in attendance. We had our tree lighting out here in front of City Hall with about 250 people.
The snow was fun.
The snow was fun,
Yeah,
right? The kids
yeah,
loved the snow.
yeah, they
And
did.
it was actually cold, so it kind of felt a little bit like snow. I'll give John credit for that. He's the mastermind behind all of the sound and snow and lights and all that fun stuff.
I don't remember snow in the past. Was it the first?
Yeah, the second.
Oh, I must have.
Different location of the snow machines. The hard part is it gets the wind. You
Oh,
never know
okay.
which way the wind's gonna go.
I go every year and I just didn't know.
I think the first year when we've tried out, the snow came out, but then it blew right over top of the building and it never came down. So we're like, we gotta change locations on that one. So,
John, you control the wind.
yeah, you learn. Winter Wonderland, we had about 2,500 in attendance. We also had the golf cart and bike parade that weekend. That was a very busy weekend. As you know, because we had to change the date of Winter Wonderland because
Sure.
our ice vendor, their snow machine was
Their ice
damaged
guy.
in the hurricane, so we had to scramble and find another ice vendor. So luckily we did the week later, but that turned out very, very well. We had breakfast with Santa. We had the talent show with about 150 people. We also had our Veterans Day ceremony with about 350 people in attendance. This past weekend, we hosted the USA BMX Florida State Series event at the Oldsmar Sports Complex, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We had a great weekend, all hands on deck from the Parks, Recreation Department, facility staff, OSC staff. Everybody was working that weekend. Friday was a busy day of practice, and then on Saturday, with the races, we had 961 race entries.
Wow.
And Sunday, we had 900 race entries. That equates, we had 170 motos plus the 90. So you were looking at about 160 plus races that day on Saturday and Sunday. USA BMX staff did a great job with the event as well. Staff was tired by the end of the weekend, but we were happy and proud of what we were able to provide. We always shine. Plenty of comments, John will tell you, people coming out. Wonderful track. This is the best track I've been to. The facility's great. The parking, staff, everybody's been friendly, so I'm really happy with what we were able to provide. Some things that the Parks and the Oldsmar Sports Complex staff have been working on and some of the projects. We installed new FIBAR, which is basically it's engineered mulch. It's the stuff that goes under the playgrounds. It's the safety material. So we installed new FIBAR at the Pirate Ship Park playground at RE Olds Park. They've been doing a lot of tree trimming. We've had a lot of what we call widowmakers. It's the branches that are dead, that are hanging, that are brown, that will eventually fall and hurt you. So they've been going throughout the city and the parks, doing tree trimming. A lot of event setups for all of the events that I just mentioned. We overseeded the ball fields with rye seed at the sports complex.
They look great.
I tell you, I can't wait till they mow them for opening day this weekend. It's going to look beautiful.
Yeah, they really look good.
Yeah, they look really good. And they, I can get into, well, anyway, our staff's done it's been a concentrated effort to improve the athletic field surfaces through the Command, which is it's a top dressing material that has natural ingredients in it. Organic materials that help to provide nutrients to the seed and to the grass that's already out there, and they've really, and with their maintenance plan that they've got together, it's really starting to turn around. Multi-purpose fields 1, 2, and 3. I say soccer, football, whatever. Multi-purpose fields, they're out there 1, 2, and 3. Overseeded with Bermuda, same thing with the baseball fields, and it's really taken off. It takes a long time. Bermuda grows slow, but it's really taken off. So we're happy with the progress they're making out there, and we're going to continue to do that as we get into the spring and summer and continue that maintenance effort. Sports Complex hosted a number of baseball tournaments through USSSA. That's once a month. The staff are out there, sometimes out there till 1 o'clock in the morning, lining ball fields because they got to have them ready for Sunday morning. So they're out there doing their work. We hosted a couple of those. Staff reinstalled the floating dock at Sheffield Park that was washed up onto the shoreline during the hurricanes. They performed mangrove trimming along the shoreline at our parks. And I was talking to the crew that we went around with today for the tour, is that So we have 11 guys in our Parks division, and it takes them 1 full week of work to just focus on mangroves. And I don't know if you've seen them or not, but they're nice and tight. They have a PVC stick set at 6 feet because that's the minimum we can trim to, and they go out on a lift. It overhangs the mangroves, and they have their edgers, and they go right over top of the 6-foot line, and it looks really nice. So I'm really proud of those guys for getting that done. And it's hard, very, very difficult work. Imagine, working overhead or stretched with your arms out for 40 hours during the week. Some upcoming events that we have. I mentioned Little League Opening Day is this weekend. I'm sure Dave might say something about that, but Little League Opening Day is this Saturday, 10 a.m. at the Sports Complex. We have Stargazers out at Veterans Memorial Park at sunset on Thursday. Parents' night out, Valentine's Day. Parents, make sure you get a date night and you drop the kids off at the rec center and let them have fun, and you go out and have fun too. So we have Parents' night out on Friday.
And there's still spots for that?
Spots are available? Yep.
Limited spots.
Limited, okay.
So get them now. Chalk the Park on Saturday, February 22nd. We've got Extravaganza coming up this spring. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but it's
I think you told me, is it April 12th? April 12th, I think is what you told me.
April 12th, Extravaganza. And then the spray park will open on March the 1st. We've moved that up from, it used to be April 1st, but it seems to always be warm in March and spring break for the kids, so we moved that up to March 1st. So lots of good things to report on over the past couple of months. Lots of good things coming up, and just really proud of the guys and the staff and the girls and the stuff that they do. So I get the credit at the council meetings, but it's all these guys. I gotta give those guys the credit.
Great leadership.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I have on the updates. So on the new business. So back to you.
All right, does John have anything to say? No. Okay, well, thank you for moving the the park date to February. I think that'll be better.
One last time, we're gonna do that in May.
But I was talking to Eric, and he's in fear that it might be cold that weekend and no one will come, because he says it happens all the time.
Who knows? We'll be good. We'll be fine.
Yes. All right. Closing agenda item number 5 and moving on to final agenda item, board comments. I'm going to start with our vice chair, Mr. Joe. Do you have any comments?
Not much. Thank you, city staff, for everything you guys do. Great. Thanks for good. Yeah, keep it up.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tina?
Yeah, I just enjoyed the van tour very much. Very informative. Thank you for taking us around. It's great.
All right, Ms. Suda, you have anything?
I was going to ask how it went. I got to go last year, whenever we did it, so it was very informative when I was
3 years
able to go. Was it that long ago?
Wow.
Okay, it's been
Time
a while.
flies.
We haven't added any parks since then, so you're good.
Yeah, so it probably hasn't changed much.
I don't know if it's in.
I did want to compliment Winter Wonderland was a great success, great turnout. Shortly after that, our Opal Theater, who was supposed to perform in October, moved to December 22nd with 42-degree weather. We still had over 300 people come out to see the show. So very proud. We're still making an impact on the community with our programs, with our theater and dance programs. So.
Almost frozen.
Yeah, it was actually almost,
just
our
took my
kids,
pun. I was gonna
our
use.
kids were frozen by the ends. The ones that had the heavy costumes were very happy they had heavy costumes. April 26th is our Alice in Wonderland coming up down at the park, so watch for notices on that. And anybody that enjoys a good Mardi Gras, watch for the notices on that. That's coming up on March 4th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Donna, do you have any board comments?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dave?
Well, as Chip said, we have, Oldsmar Little League has their opening day on Saturday, 10 a.m. It is our 65th anniversary.
Oh, cool.
So we're excited about that. And as you said, the fields look great. They've done an excellent job. And with the organic or non-organic material versus the sand that they're using in the past has made a tremendous difference. And luckily, the timing of putting it down was a little bit better than it was in the spring. Or
Yeah. This application wasn't as odoriferous.
right, yeah, yeah. That last one was pretty,
Right.
yes.
The natural.
Yeah. As Suda said, they did a great job on the Winter Wonderland and the other events. Oldsmar is definitely, puts up a good face for that stuff. Staff does a great job. Thank you.
Ms. Pam?
No, thank you for the van tour. That was very helpful. I've got new neighbors and people moving in, and I can now answer some questions intelligently about dog parks and bring your own bag to pick up after your dog and.
Yes. Bring your own
Thank you.
bag.
Yeah,
BYOB.
thank you.
All right, and just to echo what Pam and Tina said, thank you again for the chauffeuring us, Chip, for our afternoon parks tour with you. I participated in the talent show with Miss Suda with her kids, and
The dancers in the theater,
yes, and it was very good.
and some more in there, I think.
We had
It was
150.
it was a good turnout. It was a good group of performers and a good turnout for the audience.
Veterans Day ceremony was awesome. It was the first time I could actually pay attention, so I saw that it went completely 1 hour, so good job with that. Annual tree lighting ceremony. Again, I like the snow and the hot chocolate that was there, so keep up the good work, John. Thank you so much. Library Christmas storytelling. It was better this year than last year. Last year it was in the evening, and so all the kids were, half of them were good, half of them were a little crazy. There's kids running around and wrestling each other, so this year it was in the afternoon. Excuse me, and it was just a lot calmer, so good job to Mr. Anthony. And I had Santa John and the Rec Elves and Oldsmar Fire Rescue visit my house, so my children love that, and just want to shout out to the Parks and Rec staff for helping put that together, because we won the lottery for that. It's a very interesting evening.
That was the fire department.
But you got to volunteer.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know. Winter Wonderland. I did like how Santa and Mrs. Claus moved over this year, because in the past they've just been straight down, so it kind of blocks everything, so now you could kind of see the whole setup. Bike and golf cart parade was fun to watch. I think this was our first year, because usually every year there's something else going on. It's December, so lots of things. So my kids are actually interested in going and helping next year in it, so hopefully you'll be able to do that. What's the typical number for that? Was it more this year than last year, the golf carts?
It's averaged the last couple of years around anywhere between 55 and 65, somewhere in that range.
And this year was,
Include the bicycles, there's usually I don't know, 20 or 25 bicycles.
okay, and this was the second year?
It's a little less attended, I think total like in the mid-30s, somewhere around there, so.
Yeah, it did seem a little shorter this year, but then many of our Oldsmarians have relocated.
Well,
Yes.
that's
You bring up a good point, because there were a lot of people on the list the year before who came from Country Club.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And obviously, they weren't participating.
Yep.
So, I mean, their absence was
Noticed.
Definitely.
And again, to echo Frozen Junior, yes, it was truly a Frozen experience. So great job with the visual effects there.
Yes, it was definitely frozen.
That was really the only complaint. And also, maybe I made this up in my head, but I thought the show was going to be at 6 p.m. originally because of daylight savings.
No, it was the original time scheduled in October, and we just
Right.
kept that time because that's what was advertised. So usually our fall shows, and that's what happened, was that one
Right.
started right at 7 because it was darker, and normally we're stalling at 7 for it to
I know.
get dark when it's October. And then our shows are at 8 in April, which puts it a little late for some of the younger ones. But it's kind of hard to put lights on a stage that is outdoors unless it's actually dark out. So we do the best we can with the times.
So yeah, if it happens again in the future, maybe keep in mind the 6 p.m. time if possible.
We could never do it at 6 p.m., unfortunately. We're spending $2,000 on lights. So you'd have to remove all the lighting effects from the show to do it at 6 o'clock. We usually have the vendors, if it's a 7 o'clock show, we have the vendors open at 6. And if it's an 8 o'clock show, we have the vendors open at 7. Until we get a stage and can get indoors, which we hope I will live to see someday, then we'll do the best we can, utilizing that great stage down there at the park.
Okay, well, that was the only feedback I got there. Just said if it had been an hour earlier, I would have came because
Yeah.
they're smaller kids and the storyline was, more thrilling for younger kids. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of tied on that one.
Okay, no worries, but just wanted to share that with
Appreciate it.
you. And the kids just started participating in the new running club with our Steve Phillips. He's not here tonight, but they really enjoyed that. The meets are at Dunedin High School, and one is at Safety Harbor Middle. Right, and so they did something cool with the javelin. It's a Nerf type, so I'm glad that they were able to find a safe alternative to that, because I actually did that in high school, and I placed first, but then I switched schools, went to a new state, and they didn't have it anymore. I was like, it's not my fault that you guys can't watch for this kind of stuff. So I was glad to see that, and my kids really liked doing the events and running, so it was exciting to see. BMX games, I went. Did anyone else get a chance to go?
No.
It's them? Okay, well, I saw them.
I was gonna go on Sunday and end up having to work.
But yeah, it was actually exciting to see the first time, because when we go, we usually go to the Wednesday clinics, and it's just 5 to 20 kids. But this time you could see, thousands of people there, so really got to see that full experience. So, and thank you again for your staff for putting all that on. And Joan Byrne, our art director, coordinator, I don't know the exact title. She is having a project where she wants arts displayed on City Hall, so I'm gonna pass these down. It's
I've
for
picked
each
up a
member.
bunch already for our kids.
Okay, so you don't need another one?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
What was the thing on Amber?
It's gonna be,
It's a public art project,
so
basically.
it needs to be dropped off from April 1st to April 15th, so public art project
Decorate the
for
hearts and
all our community, so.
they'll put them all up, I assume, in City Hall.
The directions are all right there, so.
Oh,
just
we
pass
got
it down.
directions, good. As long as they're good.
If you want a certain color, I'll give that to you.
Nice, that's fun.
Anybody else want any
And
extra?
I think there's more available at several city locations.
Yeah, everywhere, so.
Library
If
and.
you really need more, you can get more from Miss Joan Byrne or City Hall. All right, and then thank you, Jenny, for sending out the monthly reports.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
So at this time, is there any other further board comments? All right.
I just wanted to add for the new, for the recommendation for the new alternate member, we will add this for the city council's agenda on February 18th
Okay.
for approval, and then I'll follow up to you guys with an email
Okay.
afterwards.
All right, sounds good, thank you. So any other further board comments by board members or staff? Seeing none, our next meeting is Monday, May 12th at 6 PM. Meeting adjourned.
You didn't have to do the